Hello everybody, I'm Sonakshi and I'll be teaching you about letter writing and its basics. So in this technological era, we don't often write any letters, but it's important to learn about them because the same format is used while writing emails. We also require the basic knowledge of letter writing to write letters while applying for colleges and universities, and sometimes it is also a job requirement. So, as you can see, there are mainly three types of letters. These are formal, informal, and business letters. I'll explain each of them with their appropriate formats and examples in the upcoming slides. First, we're going to learn about formal letters. So, formal letters are written when we need to reply or conversate with an individual in a formal tone. The highlighted parts here are important and you can note them down by pausing the video. So we write this kind of letter to the editor of any newspaper, principal of a school, or it can be our teacher. Next, we will learn about how the tone of a formal letter should be. It cannot be aggressive or assertive as you need to be respectful while addressing the content to the individual. The first point explains that we need to address the individual according to the appropriate noun. Example, sir, ma'am, or any gender-neutral pronouns or nouns. We often use gender-neutral noun when we are not sure of the nouns they use. We may address them as MX. Next, we need to use appropriate sentences so that we don't come off as rude or impolite. We need to make sure the sentences doesn't sound impolite when interpreted by the reader. Next point. The content of the letter should be to the point. Usually when we write messages to our friends, we tend to ask them about their day and what movie they watched. But here, we need to be formal with our writing and the content should be to the point and the points you are making should be clear to the recipient. Next, while making any kind of requests, don't forget to be formal with your writing and add kindly or please before making any kind of requests. Last point, the closing of the letter should be formal and respectful as it makes a lasting impact or lasting impression on the recipient. Next, we will look at the format of a formal letter or how you should write a formal letter. Here you can see, at first we will start to write the sender's address, which is your address with the correct PIN code. Then we will write the date that you are writing this letter on. After that is completed, we will write the receiver's address, that's the address of the recipient. We will then write whom this letter is being sent to. In this example, I've written it as principal of Ventura School. After that is done, we will write the subject matter of the letter, which gives the reader an overview or brief description of the content of the letter. We will then write the main content of the letter and the information that we want to convey, which will be followed by a complimentary close, your signature and your name and designation. Keep in mind that the content from the sender's address to the salutation always will be written on the left-hand side, as well as the complimentary close, signature, name, and designation. The body of the letter will have no changes. To understand the format a little more, you can pause the video and look at this sample letter. You don't have to write the X's, as this is only a sample letter, but you have to write the date properly when you are actually writing a letter. The highlighted words are important as it makes the tone of the letter more formal and respectable. The subject, as you can see, is very brief and it gives the reader a total overview of the content of the letter. You can pause and read the sample letter once. This is a list of words and phrases you can use while writing a formal letter instead of using words that sound informal. For example, we can do the work later can be written as we can postpone the work for later. You can see how changing a word can make a difference in the tone of the letter. You can note this page if you want for future references. Next is informal letter. We write informal letters in a casual and formal tone. We write this type of letter while writing to a close friend, relative, or family member. The tone of an informal letter is of course informal and casual. We can address a person by their name rather than writing salutations such as sir or ma'am. You can use different words and phrases as you like. The letter should be same as how you would actually conversate with the person you were writing to. Next is the format of an informal letter. Only three things change here. First, we don't have to use salutations such as sir, ma'am. Instead, we use dear and then the name of the recipient. Secondly, we don't usually write the subject matter here, but in some cases, you can opt to write the subject of the letter. The third thing that changes is the complimentary close as it becomes more of an informal complimentary closing where we use words such as lovingly instead of faithfully. Here we have a sample letter. You can see the changes that I mentioned earlier. The subject is not present, salutation has a changed tone, and the complimentary close also have a changed tone. You can pause and examine the letter once if you want to. At last, we have the business letter. We write these kind of letters to other companies, external parties, customers, clients, and employees of a company. We can share information, answer queries, or ask queries, and make negotiation deals in this kind of letter. Next is the tone of a business letter. The tone should be courteous and sincere. We use appropriate emphasis and subordination. It should be polite, respectful, and to the point. And you can use the words and phrases listed for the formal letter above. Also recheck the recipient name, designation, or the company name while addressing to them. Next, we have the format of a business letter, which is same as the format of the formal letter. Here I've written it to the product manager of a coffee company. You can pause it and read it once, so it's all clear to you. Next, we have the sample letter. You can see the highlighted words and phrases that we usually write, and it fits the tone of the letter perfectly. So make sure to use appropriate words and phrases like the ones in this sample letter. With this, we have arrived at the end of the video. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel Knowledge Inbound for more free educational courses.